Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Kevaradari Yashodanandana Bhajajana Jana Yamunadeya Panachami Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 6, conversation between Narada and Vyasadeva, text 32. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Cheva Narottanam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiyayat. Nastavesya Bhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevya Bhagavati Tamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistike. Text 32. Devadattam imam vinam svarabama vibhushitam murchayitva harikatam kayamanas-charamyaham. Word for word translation. Deva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, Dattam, gifted by, Imam, this, Vinam, a musical stringed instrument, Svara, singing meter, Brahma, transcendental, Vibhushitam, decorated with Murchayitva, vibrating, Harikatam, transcendental message, Gayamana, singing constantly, Sharami, do move, Aham, I. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. And thus I travel, constantly singing the transcendental message of the glories of the Lord, vibrating this instrument called a veena, which is charged with transcendental sound and which was given to me by Lord Krishna. Purport. This musical stringed instrument called the veena, which was handed to Narada by Lord Sri Krishna, is described in the Linga Purana and is confirmed by Sri Jiva Goswami. This transcendental instrument is identical with Lord Sri Krishna and Narada because all of them are of the same transcendental category. Sound vibrated by the instrument cannot be material, and therefore the glories and pastimes which are broadcast by the instrument of Narad are also transcendental, without a tinge of material inebriety. The 7 singing meters, namely Tsa, Saja, Ri, Rishab, Ga, Gandhara, Ma, Madhyama, Pa, Panchama, Dha, Daivata, and Nisada are also transcendental and specifically meant for transcendental songs. As a pure devotee of the Lord, Sri Naradadev is always fulfilling his obligations to the Lord for his gift of the instrument, and thus is always engaged in singing his transcendental glories and is therefore infallible in his exalted position, following in the footsteps of Sri Narad Muni. A self-realized soul in the material world should also properly use the sound meters, namely sa, ri, ga, ma, etc., in the service of the Lord by constantly singing the glories of the Lord as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Read the verse once again. Devadattam idam pinam svarva brahma vibhusti sitam murchaitva harikatam gayamanas charamaham. And thus I travel constantly singing the transcendental message of the glories of the Lord, vibrating this instrument called a veena, which is charged with transcendental sound and which was given to me by Lord Krishna. Om Jnana Timandasya Chansha Shaka Saksharan Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Ditchetayamanovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svamrapkadamam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shiru Shiyuda Padakamalam Shirum Vaishnavam Shah Shirupam Jagajatam Saganaragnatam Vitamtam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savdutam Parjan Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pradam Sakanalita Shivashakam Vitam Shah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jatpate Gopesha Gopka Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kansana Gaurangi Radhi Vrindavaneshwe Vishavana Sutadevi Pranamama Haripriye Pancha Kalpravisha Kripa Sindhuvisha Patnam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namo Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Vastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namni Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskachari Desotarini Srila Prabhupada Ki. The Narada is continuing his biography. He's telling us about his life. For us, it's difficult to imagine. Our lives are very different. His life may not fit in our concepts of what normal life is. But what are the values of our concepts anyway? Material life means we are the servant of the mind and the senses. That we serve the mind and the senses so much that we are even not aware it. It's like our normal condition, we think. That we think that's normal. So when we need to eat and drink, we think that's normal. We all think in this material world, I'm in control. We think we are the doer. Krishna calls such persons vimudas. gratefulness. We don't understand that we are dragged around by material nature. Just like one is in the middle of a rushing stream and is tossed from one side to another. You may think in your mind, yes, I'm willing this, or I want that. But we are just tossed away by these waves. But in our minds, we are imagining so much independence. So that's the power of Maya. We can imagine so many things in the mind. And it has nothing to do with what is actually going on. It has nothing to do with reality. What Maya is doing to us has nothing to do with reality. You can get lost in your mind. So many voices that you are hearing. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has his beautiful prayers, and in one of his prayers he's singing, "My dear brother, dear soul, why are you tossed around by these waves of Maya? Just remember, you are a servant of Krishna. When you remember that, all your distress will fade away. But in our minds, we think, I'm in charge. Yes. Actually, we are totally surrendered to our senses. They drag us here and there, and we cannot see the slavery. Hunger is there, thirst, anger, greed, envy, lust. It is just pushing us. Why? Why is this happening? Good question. Why is this happening? It's happening because we have chosen to act within material nature. That's why. We have chosen to enter the shape of the material energy. Therefore, these things happen. We made the wrong choice. But once we have made the choice, then material nature drags us here and there. We have faith in the body and faith in the senses. That when we speak about the body, we speak also about the senses. Krishna explains that in Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita 3:42. Indriyani pranyahu indriyebhya param manaha. Manasastu parabhutir. Yobhuda paratastu sa. The working senses, Krishna says, are higher than dull matter. And the mind is higher than the senses, intelligence is higher than the mind, and the soul is even higher than the intelligence. So, because we are pervaded by this lust, influenced by this lust, we think that what the body is perceiving, that's correct. In this way, our attachment to sense gratification will not diminish. You are the body and your senses telling you, yes, it's correct. And things go on in that way. We are assenting, we reject things. That challenges, we move out of the way. Everything that challenges this mentality, push it out. Why is that? Because that mentality is necessary for sense gratification. So we made sense gratification a necessary thing. And it's all going back to lust. So what is the original lust? I want to imitate Krishna, thinking myself the Bhaktaram Jagatava Samsara Blokamashvaram. That we think ourselves the enjoyer, the possessor of things. Therefore, we get a material body with material senses. 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. Bhunkte Prakati Jan Gunan. We want to enjoy and exploit material nature. And that made our connection. Therefore, we get a material body with material senses. And we see the body and the senses as a means of self-expression. That's our self-expression. You can be in this world the greatest intellectual, the greatest scholar, the greatest scientist, but we remain trapped because of our attachment to the body. And you cannot consider anything else. Why? Our intelligence is designed and is used to operate in the body conception. And we cannot get out of that. You can have a big brain, but your intelligence functions only within the realm, I'm this body. So some are less intelligent within these limits, and some are more intelligence within these limits. But the problem is the same. It's the same. Srila Prabhupada said, so many zeros. So one can say I have 2 zeros, and the other say I have 5 zeros. I have 1,000 zeros. But I have a PhD, 1,000 zeros. But finally it is all zero. To become Krishna conscious, we need at least to slacken our attention to our senses, to bring it a little down. The senses demand service. We want service. Srila Goswami points out the senses demand service. And when you surrender to these senses, you think, oh, they will give me relief. But no vacation, no holidays. You have to continue to serve the senses. No vacation, no holidays, and no satisfaction. Service without relief, without satisfaction. No satisfaction, and you can't get a break. Therefore, we should engage not in the service of the senses, but like Narada Muni, constantly in the devotional service of the Lord. Then our attachment then our attachment to our senses will slacken. And finally, we will be able to go beyond the range of the senses. Like when one is intoxicated, one's consciousness is not right. Your perception is not a real thing. Sex life also distorts their perception. It is the essence of bodily attachment. The effect on the consciousness is so profound that you become totally absorbed in being the body. Therefore, people have so much trouble understanding transcendental knowledge, because they are not following the regulated principles. Their resistance is so high to things that have nothing to do with their senses. The first thing necessary for Krishna consciousness is try to control the senses. So one first step is chanting Hare Krishna. That is one of the first steps. Because in Kali Yuga there is no preliminary environment for spiritual practice. That not exist. So we have here in the Bhagavatam, in the 6th chapter, Sutta Goswami speaks to Maharaj Pariksit and tells and recites a verse how to concentrate the mind. That's the beginning. When you chant Hare Krishna, concentrate your mind on chanting. So before, we must come in a position that we can concentrate the mind to chant properly the Hare Krishna mantra. So there is a verse that says to concentrate the mind. There, Sukadev Goswami explains how to concentrate the mind. And I will read that verse 6:113. Tapasa brahmacharyena shamena shadamena cha Tyagena satyasa sabhyam yamena niyamena va. To concentrate the mind, one must observe a life of celibacy and not fall down. Brahmacharyena. First thing. And to attain that, one must undergo the austerity of voluntary giving up sense enjoyment. Painful in the beginning. Voluntary give up sense enjoyment. Of course, we need sense enjoyment, but voluntary give up sense enjoyment means you need only to take something to, but the body really needs to keep body and soul together. And one must control the mind and senses. That's our problem. But what's helpful is giving charity, be truthful, clean, and non-violent. Follow the regulative principles. And regularly chant the holy name of the Lord. There you have these two. To be effective in the chanting of the holy name, you have to follow regulative principles. Yam, niyam. Things to do, things not to do. And it's said here, Give charity, be truthful, clean, and non-violent. That means one has to follow the 4 principles of Dharma. That we have to follow. What are these 4 principles of religious life? The Christians, they would say, yeah, we are following the 10 commandments of Moses. We say we are following the principles of religion. And these principles of religion are tapasya, doya, saucham, and satya. That 4 principles of religion. And following them is necessary to control the mind. That tapasya, that's mentioned in the verse, voluntary give up sense enjoyment. That therefore we don't take intoxication because that destroys austerity. Then your austerity goes, forget it. So no intoxication, even not coffee, tea, and so on. That, then you can't control the mind. That, so that's in the verse, giving this tapasya. That, and doya, be merciful. Here it is said non-violent in the verse. That means no meat, fish, and eggs. Non-violent. Mercy. Killing animals is not merciful. It's the opposite. And this violence enters the heart of people. You cannot control your senses. Do that. Then the verse says here, be clean. Saucham, that's it, that's the 3rd principle. Clean. Srila Prabhupada said clean, outside and inside. Outside we take a bath every day and after passing stool and so on. That's cleanliness. But the internal cleanliness is chanting Hare Krishna mantra. Internally, we cleanse our subtle body by chanting Hare Krishna mantra. So, cleaning the body externally, it does not mean you are clean. Maybe your people look very nice at the outside, but their subtle body stinks. And that's a problem. It is contaminated by lust. Lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, envy. So in the morning we chant japa to cleanse our subtle body. And then there's truthfulness, satya. Truthfulness, we just said, we think we see reality, but through our senses and our brain, we cannot perceive reality. We can only see reality through the eyes of sages who have transcended these modes, and by the words of Krishna. So Guru Sadhu Sastra. That's the way to perceive reality. And whatever you decide not based on Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra is speculation and is untruthful. So that is gambling. We don't do that. So it's good to understand these principles of religion and the connection with the regulative principles, and the connection with controlling the mind and senses. So you have the last verse of the third chapter of this canto, where there, I think I have it here. It is Sutta Goswami. Sutta Goswami speaking to the sage of Namasaranya. Yeah, that's a bit on my phone here. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3. I can bring it on the screen also. Then you see it. Moment. There's something in the way here. Down. And that is conversation. Yeah, chapter 3, the last verse. That's all the second last verse. Here's the last verse. Tatra kirtayato vipra vibharishe Bprs bhore te yasam aham satyagamam tatra nivishtas tat anugrahat soham vayishyami yataditam yatamati. Learn Brahmins. When Sukadev Goswami recited Bhagavatam there in the presence of Emperor Parikshit, I heard him with rapt attention, and thus by his mercy I learned the Bhagavatam from that great and powerful sage. Now I shall try to make you hear the very same thing as I learned it from him, and as I've realized it. So he's saying, I heard the Bhagavatam with rapt attention. Rapt attention. So we have to hear the Bhagavatam with rapt attention. You have to chant the holy name with rapt attention. Why can't we do that? That brings us back to concentration of the mind. And then here, in the purport, one should hear with rapt attention from the real person, and he can at once realize the presence of Krishna in every page. What power! Just concentrating and you find Krishna in the pages of the Bhagavatam. And that's the secret of the Bhagavatam. The then Srila Prabhupada says, no one can give rapt attention who is not pure in mind. That's the problem. As long as we identify with the body and we serve the senses, not pure in mind. And then we are not pure in action. No one can be pure in mind when he's not pure in actions. Therefore, you have to follow the four regulative principles. Then you become godly pure in action. But nobody can be pure in action who is not pure in eating, sleeping, fearing, mating, and so on. So we must adapt our behavior. Not eating meat, fish, eggs, no intoxication, sleeping not more than necessary, not too less, not too much, and so on. But we have to hear with rapt attention from the right person from at the very beginning. And then we will find Krishna in person in the Bhagavatam. So this is the secret of knowing Bhagavatam is mentioned here. It's a secret. You know it now. That's how you can know the Bhagavatam. So you can only give rapt attention when you are pure in mind. You can only be pure in mind if you are pure in your actions, follow the regulative principles. And you can, so that means behavior. We must behave as a devotee. And that is the preliminary environment for spiritual practice that we have to create ourselves. So that's the first step to come out of this illusion. Of course, one is only out of illusion if one is engaged 24 hours a day in devotional service. Devotional service is the only way to control the mind. If you are not engaged in devotional service, the mind will control you. Only solution. Any questions or comments? Good. I hope it was helpful, and I'm looking forward for the next time. Next week, Wednesday, I'm in Krishna willing, especially Lord Nrsimhadev that day. Because the 4th is his appearance day. I will be in Montreal. And so I'm traveling next week. Cannot give a class next Wednesday. The Wednesday after is the 10th of May. Probably I will be able to give class from Montreal. And week after, Wednesday the 17th, I'm traveling from Montreal, I'm flying to Halifax. Will be not possible. And then the week after, the 24th, would be okay. So I'm expecting, probably I will have 2 classes next month. That's okay. Is that okay, Purna Chandrapur?
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah. I know you're busy, but any other days also, if you're available, Maharaj, we are here available.
Okay, I will let you know when I'm in Canada.
Yes, Maharaj.
Then I can discuss my schedule with the devotees who are organizing it.
Yes, yeah.
Good.
Yeah. And Maharaj, just to send, there are few devotees. We have a contact in Canada, and I would like to send your schedule so that wherever they can, attend, if it is okay with you. So from where we will get that schedule?
I will ask Bhakta Samuel, who is concerned with it, to contact you.
Okay, Maharaj.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Hare Krishna. Jai Prabhupada.
Thank you so much.